Hi everyone, happy Monday. I got just a few things to share with you today. Just not, some ideas and stuff. I wanted to show you some of Tim Holtz's new stamps that you can get at Outlaw Women's Scrapbook Emporium. And this is the remnants with the hot air balloon, just love it, and the subway art and some steampunk here. Here's some backgrounds, mixed media, and I used this honeycomb one on some tickets that I'm making. If you ever thought that you didn't really know how to use the Tim Holtz ticket die, I'm here to tell you that there are some really fun things to do with this die. Here's an example. This is a double layer. I cut it out in a solid cardstock, and I cut it out in white cardstock, and then stamped the tickets and stamped a sentiment on it. Here's another one. I used distress inks on both of these to color the backgrounds, and on these tickets I've just stamped so far, and I haven't colored them. This one is watercolor paper, so that's going to be fun to do. This one is glossy paper, so I used archival to stamp on this one, and then I'm going to use alcohol inks to color it. This one is where I used the background honeycomb from this stamp set, and I also used the drippy butterfly and the crown. That stamp was this one, and all I did was just ink up the parts I wanted to use on it. And then this is another Tim Holtz stamp. I'm not even sure which one it comes from, but it's all about postcards. So I just layered it on there, and then I'm going to use some distress inks or stains to color the backgrounds. And you can then cut them up. Let me show you some others. You can then cut them up and use your trinket pins or oh, what are they? The little pins that you can. Let me find it. You can take these pins, Tim Holtz pins, and slide this right down into it. And then you can take a tag or something and stick it on here for some dimension on your tags. Okay, and I just wanted to show you those. So let's move these out of the way. Then another set is this on the railroad, and then road trip, and Artful Voyage. So I'm going to be playing with these for a while. Today I'm going to use the background mixed media stamps, and I'm going to use the on the railroad. So what I've done is I've taken just a plain manila tag like this, and then I bought an old book. This one happens to be an old Western book, but it's just an old paperback book from a used bookstore. It cost me $1, and I tore one of the pages out, and then I cut it up into pieces, and then I used collage glue stick to put those papers just here and there, stick the text on. I can't think what I want to say. Then what I did is I used mustard seed, tumbled glass, and vintage photo to add color to it. I put the tumbled glass on first in a couple areas, and then the mustard stain filled in, and then the vintage photo I just kind of drug along the edges. I dried that, and then I put glue and seal over top of it and dried that again. So from here, let's move these things out of the way. I want to use my archival ink because I am stamping over top of glue and seal, so I'm going to use my archival ink so that I know that it will stay. You could also use StazOn. Let me get my acrylic block ready. Okay, so I'm going to make this a horizontal tag. Put it this way. And the first thing I'm going to do is take my railroad tracks, and I just have a small acrylic block here, but if you've got a larger one, use a larger one. I'm just going to make do with this one. And I'm going to ink it up, and then I'm going to stamp that right across the bottom. Ink some more, and where I left off. Okay, and the next thing I want to do is, now I'm going to just play and stamp around. This is the passenger coupon part of that stamp set, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp off, because I want this stamp to be not so prominent as that one. So I'm going to stamp off once and then stamp here. Ink the stamp, stamp off, stamp again. Okay, so that way you get a little bit of business going on in the background, but it's not competing for your attention. Now I'm also going to go ahead and take the railroad crossing stamp, ink it up, stamp off, whoa, and then stamp on again. Okay, now I'm going to use one more stamp on there. This one that comes in that stamp set, and stamp on it. Now I didn't stamp off that time. Okay, and the last thing we're going to do is use the locomotive. And I'm going to put that on my acrylic block, and I'm going to stamp it right here over top. Okay, but instead of using the archival, I want to add a little drama, so I am going to use Fired Brick Distress Ink. Okay, now I'm just going to take this and stamp all over the stamp with my Fired Brick ink pad, because that's the easiest way to ink it and make sure that it is covered with ink everywhere you want it to be. Okay, check it out. Make sure you haven't missed any places. Then I'm going to take my tag, and I'm going to set this right on the railroad tracks, and then I'm going to press. And I feel like with the big stamps, it's a lot easier to either press with your hands, or you can use your Fiskars stamp press and push down and get a really good impression. Okay, now you see it, but you don't see it. It's not real. It's not real dark there, is it? I think that I would like it to be a little darker. So in that case, I'm going to stamp again with the Vintage Photo. So I'm going to ink it up. Okay. Then I'm going to take, let's see if I have it. Okay. But I don't have the Fired Brick Distress Marker, but I do have Barn Door. So I'm going to take it and just kind of go over some of this with my distress marker. Add that red back in. I'm going to spritz it. Oh, I did forget to tell you that I also sprayed my tag with Cappuccino Perfect Pearls before I put the glue and seal on. Alright, so now let's do it this way. I'm going to set the tag on top of my stamp and press in. And let's see what we get. Okay, so this is what we call a happy accident. It turned out to be just a mess of red, and I still don't have a good image. So let's go ahead and go back to the archival. I don't have a red archival ink, but I do have the black, and I've already got my red on there. So let's try stamping this in the black archival. Okay, I'm putting my stamp down on it, pouncing down to get the ink on it. Looks like I've got it on there pretty good. So let's stamp this one more time and see what we come up with. Well, I'm not getting anything, am I? Well, this is not cool. Okay. So what do we do now? Well, that's easy. We take another tag. We re-ink our stamp. Okay. Place the stamp on the tag. Press it down. Okay, now we have a good image. Now I'm coming back to my barn door. Just move that out of the way. And I'm going to get out my blending tool. No, it's not barn door, it's fired brick. My fault. Okay. I've recently purchased a container and got a pad, a foam pad for each of my colors, labeled them all, and keep them here. So this foam pad now will forever be fired brick. Okay. And I'm going to add that red element with this stain, with this ink, and then going to get out my vintage photo, ink that up, and put that element of brown in there. Alright. Now I'm going to tear the tag. I could have cut it and used my edger to distress the edges, but I think this looks a lot better, a lot more authentic. Now if you tear your paper up, you're going to get more of an exposed edge than if you tear it down. Okay, and that's a little, I will use the stressor to edge there, because it's just a little too close. Okay. Yeah, maybe I can get it to tear a little. There we go. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take the vintage photo and darken those edges. Alright, and I'm going to take some foam tape, put that on the back, alright. And then we will now put it on the tag. Bigger than I wanted it to be. And so I think I'll go ahead and tear some of this off closer. It's a little bit hard to do this sitting on the table. Alright, there we go. And come back in with the vintage photo to darken those areas. Let's use a little bit of fired brick as well. Okay. Then I'm going to take my little ticket that I made And I'm going to stick that right there on my tag. Okay, so if you make a mistake or something doesn't turn out the way you want it to, don't give up on it. You can do something different with it. And I think this will probably, I'll probably put something on the edge here, get some seam binding and stain it with the fired brick in the vintage photo and add that. But so anyway, here's a mixed media tag and you can just play. So thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next Monday.